The hour had slipped beyond midnight. After hours of restless tossing and turning in bed, I finally rose to fetch a glass of water. The lights in the living room still glowed softly. Indeed, it was that particular night my brother Casey had dispatched Jaden to stay with me for a time. Upon learning of his fate, my heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. His wife had betrayed him, leaving his world in ruins. Jaden, who had shared his life with the same woman for many years, found himself caught off guard in the most devastating manner. Casey's son was navigating a challenging period. He found himself unable to cope with it as well. "Jacob, please take him in," Casey had implored me. "He craves tranquility." Though I was not well acquainted with Jaden, I understood that his troubled state stemmed from the treachery of a woman. Our family had endured an immense amount of loss. It has been 7 years since I lost my husband, Jacob. At the age of 60, I faced the abrupt loss of him due to a heart attack. In one fleeting moment, we were crafting the very essence of our dream home. What was meant to be completed in a year came to an abrupt halt the following year, leaving everything in a standstill. The moment Jacob passed, my entire world was turned on its head. Alone I remained, and for years this void has lingered within me. Yet recently, the solitude has been weighing more heavily. This evening unfolded like one of those unforgettable nights. Are you prepared? This tale transcends the realm of the ordinary. This explores the delicate boundaries that fade, feelings that whirl into chaos, and the unvoiced cries of a truth yearning to emerge. Each instant of this experience has the potential to ignite something profound within you, unveiling emotions you were previously unaware of, challenging limits you never believed could be surpassed. If this tale has been the one you've longed to hear, don't hesitate to click that subscribe button and activate notifications. Your support is invaluable to me. With deliberate steps, I approached the living room. As I took a few steps forward, I spotted Jaden seated, engrossed in a romantic film playing on the television. In that instant, my thoughts were solely focused on ensuring that Jaden could discover a semblance of peace throughout his time here. Yet, unbeknownst to me, fate had woven a different tapestry. Many elements were already unraveling, and it would require just a single step, merely one, to alter the entire course of events. Jaden turned to me and inquired, "Did I wake you up?" His voice carried a blend of hesitation and an urgent longing for tranquility. There I stood, clad in my nightgown, yet the attire felt inconsequential. In that moment, a profound sense of loneliness enveloped me like a heavy fog. "No," I replied, offering him a gentle smile. "I merely arrived to fetch some water." In that moment, an overwhelming sense of solitude enveloped me, and I found myself wishing for time to stretch, to linger just a little longer. Perhaps a few moments shared with Jaden could fill the void of the evening. Perhaps sharing a movie could evoke a sense of normalcy in my life, a reminder that peace remains within reach. "Come sit, let's watch it together," Jaden said, gesturing to the vacant space on the couch beside him. The choice came easily. I yearned to embrace the night, seeking even a flicker of warmth, a whisper of significance. I took a seat beside him. The film began to unfold, yet my attention drifted from the unfolding scenes. Within me lay a mystery, an enigma I struggled to unravel. Jaden's presence, the manner in which this unfamiliar figure occupied the space beside me, the subtle tremor in his voice, it all felt remarkably distinct. As the tender moments unfolded on the screen, I felt compelled to avert my gaze for just a moment. The couple on the screen, inching closer together, stirred memories I believed had long faded away. In a moment of unintentional movement, I tilted my head just enough to graze Jaden's arm. I recoiled swiftly. Apologies escaped my lips, my gaze flitting away in a surge of anxiety. "It was never my intention." Jaden paused for a moment, then offered a slight nod and replied, "It's all right, don't fret about it." Yet, in that instant, the distance that separated us seemed to diminish. The film continued to unfold, yet an unmistakable shift lingered in the air, rendering everything different. In that moment, both Jaden and I were unable to discover any semblance of peace. Though we were seated in proximity, the void within each of us seemed to create an insurmountable barrier. That night would linger in my memory as the beginning of something far more intricate than I had ever envisioned. That moment served as a harbinger of the impending transformation that lay ahead. The evening had veered into the realm of the peculiar. As I sat on the couch, engrossed in a romantic movie with Jaden, an undeniable attraction began to stir within me. Despite the fact that I was in my nightgown, seated so near to another man after a prolonged solitude, an undeniable tension began to swell, demanding my attention. Jaden's presence did not bring solace, instead, it illuminated truths I had yet to confront. Perhaps it was the solitude I had embraced for so long, but the proximity to another man, in this intimate manner, awakened something deep within me. It was perplexing and strange, leaving me in a state of uncertainty, yet undeniably, my feelings for Jaden were stirring within me. On that night, everything began to fall into place. Not a moment of relaxation graced me until the final credits rolled. Once the movie concluded, I rose, retreated to my room, and settled onto my bed, lingering in silence for a time. I found myself in a moment of contemplation, yet the subject eluded me. I was completely unaware. Drifting off to sleep amidst a tempest of emotions felt far from a simple reset. I writhed and shifted throughout the entire night. The absence of restful slumber pulled me into the dawn. As the dawn broke, I chose to settle at the piano, yearning to dispel the disquiet that lingered within me. For nearly 7 years, solitude had been my constant companion, and each dawn brought with it a yearning for a semblance of normalcy in my life. The piano resonated like a familiar companion, offering a touch of solace and evoking memories of Jacob. As my fingers glided over the keys, I held on to the hope that his morning would offer me some solace as well. Suddenly, a sound pierced the stillness outside. A silhouette loomed before the window. Jaden was taking an early morning stroll through the town. Initially, he slipped past my awareness, but as the notes danced through the atmosphere, he pushed open the front door and stepped inside. I continued to play, oblivious to his presence, until my gaze unexpectedly fell upon him, standing silently, observing me. For a fleeting moment, my fingers became icy, and that tightness within me? Indeed, it surged forth, more powerful than before. Yet Jaden merely smiled at me, as if everything in the world was perfectly in order. "That was beautiful," he said. "Thank you. Truly, that stands as the finest birthday present I have ever received." In that fleeting instant, a wave of exhilaration washed over me. As Jaden entered, the atmosphere seemed to change, as if we had crossed into an entirely new realm. Then, he spoke in a serene, authentic voice that was unlike anything I had ever encountered. "What I just expressed. Indeed, it is. Observing you for even a brief moment was the most delightful experience I've had in quite some time, and by the way, I celebrated my 40th birthday today." It was not long before I recognized the profound impact those words had on my soul. I turned my gaze away, attempting to reconcile the tumult of feelings with the warmth of his praise. At that moment, after what felt like an eternity, a flicker of connection pierced through my solitude, and I could feel the winds of change beginning to stir. Following the thrill of that morning, I began to anticipate the evening with a sense of purpose. Discovering that it was Jaden's 40th birthday ignited a desire within me to do something, anything, that would infuse the day with a sense of normalcy and perhaps even a touch of the extraordinary. An inspiration struck, and I glanced over at him. "Is today your birthday?" I inquired. "Very well, let us raise a toast to this occasion. Shall we indulge in some wine and slice into a cake this evening?" Jaden bestowed upon me a smile that was laced with surprise. "Well, if you're suggesting it, I suppose tonight could indeed be enjoyable," he remarked, a playful glint dancing in his eyes. After a moment's hesitation, he continued with a playful smile, "But there's a twist. Please play the piano for me once more. There's no escape from it." With a chuckle, I attempted to dispel the growing nervousness within me. "Very well," I replied, "but only if we uncork a fine bottle of wine and raise a proper toast." That seemingly insignificant exchange etched a more profound mark on my consciousness than I was willing to acknowledge. Emotions surged within me, yet I stifled them, convincing myself that tonight was merely about restoring a semblance of normalcy. It was merely a birthday, a modest celebration, nothing more. Yet, in a moment of unexpected ease, Jaden uttered a remark that was both nonchalant and profoundly jarring, leaving me momentarily disoriented. He gazed at me with that familiar innocent expression and inquired, "How old are you?" "What, 45. I paused for a moment. I had always endeavored to embrace a sense of youthfulness, yet the sincerity of that compliment took me by surprise. A smile crept onto my face. "Oh, not exactly," I replied, dismissing it lightly. Yet, it was challenging to conceal the subtle thrill that his words ignited within me. Within me, a tug-of-war ensued, caught between the comforting embrace of his warmth and the tempest of emotions I struggled to contain. As evening descended, Jaden and I uncorked our wine and nestled into our celebration. In our conversation, a bond began to form between us. His warmth and the attentive way he engaged with me created a sense of ease within. An undeniable connection lingered in the air, a magnetic force intensifying with each fleeting second. Within, a voice persistently urged me to regard this as just another typical evening. Yet, Jaden lifted his glass, a smile dancing on his lips, and with a twinkle in his lively eyes, he playfully inquired, "So, when will you perform something for me? It's clear that escape is not an option for you." In that fleeting instant, uncertainty gripped me. With a deep breath, I declared, "All right, let's do it." I positioned myself at the piano, allowing the melody to cascade once more, yearning for it to soothe the tempest within me. With every note, I sensed a change, as if an invisible force was pulling me nearer to him, even as I became enveloped in the melody. In some inexplicable manner, I discovered solace in his attentive listening, in the genuine appreciation he showed, as if my words held the utmost significance in the universe. What I envisioned as a straightforward celebration transformed into an entirely different experience. In that instant, it was as if I caught a fleeting glimpse of a sensation I had long been deprived of, something undeniably genuine. My vision wavered as my fingers danced across the keys. Every note awakened a feeling within me, yet I struggled to pinpoint its essence. Jaden's voice lingered softly in my thoughts, as if my heart and mind were gradually separating from one another. Engulfed in the whirlwind of it all, I found myself oblivious to the moment of pause. As my fingers instinctively sought out another melody, Jaden materialized beside me, catching me off guard. He laid his hand softly atop mine. "You're an incredible woman," he murmured, his voice gentle and slightly unsteady, "and your piano playing is simply exquisite." His words reverberated in my mind, creating an unsettling void in their wake. His warm hands enveloped mine, anchoring me amidst the tumult of my spiraling emotions. "Come on, you're tired," he said softly, his voice imbued with a calm reassurance. "Shall we take a moment to settle onto the couch? A delightful surprise awaits you." With a tender hand, Jaden led me to the couch. Though I struggled to fully grasp the unfolding events, there was an undeniable depth to the moment that resonated deeply within me. As I settled into my seat, my mind remained a tempest of thoughts. Jaden then made his way back to the piano. I observed his hands glide effortlessly across the keys, and in an instant, he began to play my favorite melody. It struck me immediately. It was the melody I had cherished for years, the one that consistently awakened something profound within me. As he played, my heart quickened with anticipation. Each note resurrected memories I was unprepared to confront. I remained seated, absorbing the melodies that enveloped the space, stirring a spark deep within me. Eventually, I found myself unable to remain still any longer. The melody he played lifted me, as if it were beckoning me closer. With measured steps, I approached him, striving to quell the tumult within my heart. As I approached, positioning myself directly beside him, uncertainty washed over me, leaving me at a loss for action. "You're truly exceptional at this," I remarked, my voice quivering as I endeavored to conceal the rapid thumping of my heart. "And you're playing the song that I adore most." My words lingered in the air, reverberating through the room as my emotions battled within me. "Who is it that you are, Jaden?" I inquired, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. "You're truly starting to affect me. I've never experienced anything quite like this before." A whirlwind of emotions engulfed me, overwhelmed, confused, excited, terrified, and undeniably happy, all intertwining in a chaotic dance within my heart. Our gazes locked, and the proximity was such that I could sense the warmth of his breath. Gazing into his eyes, it was as if I were descending into an entirely different realm. In that fleeting moment, time came to a standstill. The intensity of his gaze sent my heart into a frenzy, igniting a warmth within me. In that instant, it seemed as though we were the sole inhabitants of the universe. All things fell into place, yet in a manner that felt distinctly altered. In that instant, it seemed as though the universe had contracted to encompass only the two of us. All else dissolved into the background, and in that moment, clarity emerged, revealing a new perspective on everything. Our gazes intertwined, and in that fleeting moment, the world around us faded away. In an instant, the chaos, the trepidation, and the whirlwind of thoughts evaporated, leaving just Jaden and me in a serene stillness. His hand settled softly on my waist, providing a steady anchor while remaining tender enough to avoid any pressure. My mind was in a whirl, and I found it impossible to discern whether it was the wine or the torrent of emotions coursing through me. Without Jaden's steady presence, I questioned whether I would remain upright. The gaze in his eyes drew me nearer, and in that instant, his warmth enveloped me, instilling a sense of safety that provided equilibrium amid the surrounding turmoil. "You need to rest," he said softly, gently steering me toward the couch. His words wrapped around me like a soothing balm, while the sensation of his hands resting on my waist stirred a complex mix of comfort and unease within me. As I settled into my seat, his hands remained for a heartbeat longer, and once more, our gazes intertwined. Uncertainty enveloped me, leaving me at a loss for words and emotions. The warmth of his touch rendered the night unforgettable, imbued with a power I found difficult to articulate. That evening on the couch evolved into one of the most exhilarating, indelible nights of my existence. The events unfolded with such rapidity that I scarcely had a moment to absorb it all before the dawn arrived. As I slowly opened my eyes, I rose and made my way to the living room. The aroma of coffee drifted in from the kitchen, gently rousing me from my drowsy reverie. There he stood, Jaden, in the kitchen, bare-chested, crafting a cup of coffee. His body, vibrant and powerful from the previous night, lay exposed for all to see. What about me? Reflecting on last night evokes an unusual feeling that courses through my entire being. The remnants of my nightgown and underwear lay strewn across the floor. The mere recollection of it all stirred a blend of nerves and exhilaration within me. As I revisited the events of that night in my mind, a deeper sense of confusion settled within me. What was about to unfold now? Where might I even start to unravel that mystery? Yet, one truth stood unmistakably evident. A bond existed between us that was unlike anything I had ever experienced. This night, this moment, seemed to herald the beginning of a transformation that could alter the course of my life indefinitely. Jaden pivoted away from the kitchen, his gaze meeting mine, eyes gentle and a smile that radiated warmth. A silence enveloped us, heavy with the weight of unvoiced thoughts. As I lingered in that moment, observing him, I wrestled with the swirling emotions within me, attempting to decipher the unfolding scene. The chaos was overwhelming. Uncertainty enveloped me, leaving me at a loss for the next steps, unsure of how to progress. In that moment, I felt utterly adrift, entirely enveloped in the experience, yet beneath it all, I sensed a change stirring, an inevitability that I knew could not be halted. As I stood there as Jacob, a whirlwind of excitement and confusion coursed through me. Ever since the night before, clarity had eluded me, leaving me in a haze of confusion. All unfolded in the blink of an eye. My clothes lay strewn across the floor, and as I cast a glance their way, I shut my eyes for a brief moment, shaking my head ever so slightly. The intricacies of it all left me in a fog, unable to decipher my thoughts, much less my emotions. I sprang to my feet and made my way to the bathroom. A shower was essential, a necessary reprieve to cleanse my thoughts and escape the tempest of emotions that engulfed me. My nightgown and underwear remained precisely in their place. The disorder around me was of no concern. My sole desire was to immerse myself in the cascade of warm water, to find solace from the turmoil, if only for a fleeting moment. Eventually, I emerged from the shower, enveloping myself in a towel. In that instant, the door swung wide open. Jaden stood there, a figure caught in the stillness of the moment. I stood still, caught in a moment of disbelief. In that fleeting instant, we remained perfectly still. Our eyes met and held, ensnared in a gaze so profound it seemed as if time itself had ceased to flow. Uncertainty enveloped me, leaving me at a loss for action. The turmoil and depth of feeling in my gaze must have been unmistakable, as I sensed a profound sense of exposure and vulnerability. And yet, in some inexplicable way, I found myself unable to contain the words that surged forth, spilling out of me uncontrollably. "I find myself utterly bewildered," I confessed, my voice quivering ever so slightly. "What are we doing? I'm aware of the wrongness, yet it feels as though I'm lost in a dream." Jaden advanced another step toward me. His eyes brimmed with a tumult of conflicting emotions. Neither of us had any inkling of what lay ahead. In that fleeting moment, I yearned to articulate my thoughts, yet the words eluded me entirely. "Your coffee's ready," Jaden said, his voice trembling slightly. As my gaze wandered to him, I realized how chaotic and yet oddly captivating everything appeared. I had not contemplated what lay ahead. I simply existed in that moment. As I settled into my chair with a steaming cup of coffee, a tempest of confusion brewed within me. Across the table, Jaden and I exchanged a gaze, a silent acknowledgement of the memories that lingered between us. Everything unfolded in a whirlwind, leaving me struggling to catch my breath. What had we wrought? What emotions stirred within us? I yearned to articulate something that would bring clarity to the chaos, yet the perfect words eluded me, slipping through my fingers like sand. "Jacob," Jaden began, his voice heavy with tension. "Our actions were undeniably misguided, and I am fully aware of that. What led us to allow this to unfold in our lives?" His eyes revealed a blend of guilt and a deeper comprehension. He understood, as I did, that the situation had unraveled beyond our grasp. Ought we not to feel a sense of regret for this, perhaps? It was a decision we should have never made. A moment of silence lingered in the air. Amidst the chaos of my thoughts, clarity emerged, and at last, I discovered my voice. Perhaps. Everything unfolded in a blur, yet deep down, it felt all wrong. We allowed complexities to weave their way into our lives, and in retrospect, it seems as though everything has lost its clarity. "This was a mistake for both of us," I remarked. A heaviness settled upon my chest, yet an odd sense of relief washed over me as I acknowledged that we had both crossed a line too far. Jaden fell silent for a moment, his gaze fixed on the floor, before finally lifting his eyes to meet mine. "Let's pretend this never happened," he said, his voice calm yet gentle, addressing Jacob. "For the benefit of us both, it seems necessary to move on from this." What benefit could possibly arise from prolonging this situation, particularly when everything is already in disarray? It is essential for us to have some distance from one another. At that moment, a deep chord within me vibrated in response. He was indeed correct. Perpetuating this situation would only bring pain to us both. "Indeed," I replied, inhaling deeply. "Perhaps this is ultimately for the best. Perhaps your departure is the answer we seek. This choice likely represents the pinnacle of health for us both." Jaden nodded, his demeanor resolute. "I must do this," he declared. "This decision is the best course of action for both of us." We lingered in silence for a few moments, simply gazing at one another. In that instant, we both understood the weight of this choice, acknowledging that our past actions, those shadowy times, were merely errors in judgment. Confronting that reality could very well be the initial stride toward rectifying the situation. Rather than ensnaring one another in a web of negativity, it became clear that granting each other the necessary space was the sole path to progress. I trust that my tale resonated with you. This journey has been nothing short of exhilarating, and the joy of sharing it with you has been immense. If you wish to delve deeper into tales such as this, be sure to subscribe and activate notifications, ensuring you're among the first to discover when a new episode unfolds. Your likes and comments truly hold immense significance for me. Your thoughts and feelings resonate deeply with me, fueling my motivation. Your support is invaluable in fueling my creative endeavors. My heartfelt gratitude to each of you, and I look forward to our next tale together.